Hey everybody, welcome to Surprise Radio. I'm your host Surprise, and today I'm joined by Pat of Do Me a Favor. I'm gonna
Varia.
just I'm just gonna go ahead and address the elephant in the room just to kick things off and talk about the fact that I always mispronounce or think I mispronounce the names of bands, and you have proven that at least this time I'm right. I did mispronounce it. I've been calling it Varia all this time.
Yep,
It's
I've
it's
heard Varia Carey. I've heard Varia. I've heard it all. It's very like think in a conversation when you're trying to describe something, you go, it's very it's kind of like that.
cool. Thanks for letting me know that and for kicking this interview off with some fun.
Yeah, of course.
So, how long have you been in Varia?
So Varia was the project I started. Honestly, we kind of I think our Spotify bio says like formed in secret, but we kind of put things together like it was kind of like, classic band story. This was kind of like our last real attempt at stuff. And so we pieced members together from other lineups from like local bands. And honestly, like late 2017, we started to like write the songs. And then 2018, we did our first CP. And then, we did a bunch of stuff in between like 2018 and 19. So it feels like way longer to us because I mean, dude, it was like a show every week and it was a lot. Uh, so it feels like a long time. And then we took like a break. And honestly, kind of in the middle of the pandemic, we came back. I know that was probably a way longer answer than you were expecting.
Now, this is your interview, man. I need you to do the talking. Nobody wants to see me.
Oh, you're good. No, I want to see you.
So, you've been
But
together since around 2017, but you've really started pumping some stuff out for I know that the first time I heard you was last October. I remember because it was the show that I had another night on with me. So, that was the first time I heard you. So, you've been really cranking it up since then, yeah?
yeah, that album. So we put out an album last year, Awakened by the Setting Sun, and that was a mix of songs that were some of them honestly predate the band. They're from like the ideas are as old as like 2015 or 16. And it was half like older stuff that we'd been sitting on and half like new stuff, kind of picking up where we left off. And yeah, it was a lot. We talked about like doing it like the singles game, like a lot of other bands do, but just for those songs and kind of where we were at, we were just like, no one's doing this right now. Like we just this was intended as an album, so let's just do it. I mean, we're an independent band, like who cares?
I do like that approach. Like you said, since it had been so long since anyone had heard from you, it was good to kind of throw some of the older stuff in with some new stuff and really kick off. So that was a good
Yeah,
approach, I think.
appreciate it.
So you had a guest vocalist in Look Where We Are Now.
Yes, that is my girlfriend Audrey. I've been with her 3.5, 4 years. She's always helped me with everything. Like she's always been by my side and stuff. And she's always talked about, oh, I want to play music. I want to sing. Like I did it back in the day, and she really likes the part. And then we were on like a weekend getaway, and I'm a dweeb, so like I always bring my setup no matter where I go. And I was like, well, why don't you just do the part? I told her, I was like, I'll layer you in. And then she just sounded way better than me. And I was like, oh, I'm just going to make this the main part. It was just kind of like that whole approach for that album was just like, we're just going to do whatever we want. Like, we don't care like what anyone else thinks. This is our thing. We're just going to do it how we want.
Yeah, and that brings me to really why I brought it up is it feels a lot like this project is has a lot of freedom to it for everybody to kind of express themselves. Do you have anything on the horizon where maybe somebody gets to showcase? I ask in a little bit of a selfish way. I don't hear enough bass solos, and this is me kind of putting the hint in there that hey, man, we'd love to hear a bass solo if he's down.
Yeah, we could
Anything like
definitely
that
do that.
coming?
Yeah, so we became like a four piece like throughout the album too, like because it was just kind of like our original bassist like he has two kids, and so it's like, yeah, we get it, man. You're busy. Like, like we're still friends. So our guitar player, Chris, I think he's permanently going to switch to bass. We're just kind of, we're just, the thing with this band is we just try to enjoy each other's company now. We just try to have fun with it. And so Wyatt, he's been playing bass and he seems to really like it. So I know for sure he would be down for some like bass solo stuff. So I'll definitely bring that up to him.
So who is your biggest influence or impact on you in your musical career, be it growing up or even just today, a new one possibly?
Oh man, for what kind of genre? Like all genres?
No, what makes you sing? What if you're sitting there and you just really want to get down and sing, what makes you not even be able to help yourself but get after it?
Ooh, that's tough. It honestly depends on the mood. Like I grew up like with stuff like, Green Day, Nirvana, and like all those like Southern California like punk bands like NoFX and everything like that. So that's really my bread and butter is like punk, like pop punk music. But I don't know, like I love like older emo bands like Seosin and The Used and stuff like that. Like those are the types of bands that like I've always really looked up to. There's also this band, I think they were from Detroit. They never got as big as they should have been, but there was this band called Search the City that I'm just like obsessed with. Like I've known about them for a really long time, and they have those albums where like no matter what I'm doing, like if I turn it on, I'm listening to that for like 2 weeks straight. It's I don't know, and I just try to do stuff like that. Like I don't so much focus on like singers and stuff like that. I kind of focus more on like the overall sound and like how like witty it can be or the writing and I don't know. I'm going on a tangent, but yeah.
Yeah, I feel the same way about Tripping Daisy. Tripping Daisy is a band that not a lot of people know about. They never got the notoriety they should have, but when I listen to their music, I get happier. I bounce a little bit. I just enjoy life a lot more when I'm listening to Tripping Daisy. And sometimes it's not all about, what makes you really get after it. Sometimes it's about what makes you just lose all sense of holding back and let go. So I can understand that.
Yeah, and I like all styles too. Like I'm not limited to anything. Like I'll listen to stuff from like Maroon 5 or like I really like City and Color, the guy from Alexis on Fire, but then I also like, stupidly heavy bands like Enterprise Earth or Bill Jarda. Like there's there's really just like no in between.
So does Varia have anything coming up soon, or are y'all still kind of writing?
Yeah, well, I have a lot of free time now. So I'm gonna probably so Varia kind of came back as like sort of just like you know, kind of like a side project. Like we weren't going full steam ahead just because we were all busy. But I think now for sure we're gonna kind of modernize our band. Like we might try the singles game out for a little bit. And it's really like honestly in the past couple years alone, like the game has just changed so much. Like even like 3, 4, 5 years ago, you could put out like an EP or a group of songs and just make 1 or 2 videos and you'd be fine. But now it's just the name of the game is short form content. You know what I mean? So it's just, I think for us right now, it's more or less just finding our place in like a modern landscape for music and just really trying to dial that in, like to be more consistent.
Do you have a favorite song to sing or to play live? Because I know that y'all have a couple of live shows on the horizon. So do you have a favorite one that you like to perform or sing?
I like to play I Had It Wrong. Um, that one, I love that song a lot. Look Where We Are Now is good. Um, I honestly I love them all. We're all kind of biased. Picking a set list for us is like always difficult because we're just I don't know, maybe we're just selfish, but we always look at it and we're like, man, these are so good. Like what do you mean we can't play that one? Like
Does she ever sing with you when you play Look Where We Are live?
I so when we did our headliner in Richmond last year, she was there. Um, because she doesn't come out to all of them just
Hmm.
because and it's not a bad thing, a lot of times like being at a show all day is pretty boring. Like
Hmm.
when you load in at 4, you don't play till 9, and you load out at 11, like it's a lot. But yeah, she was there in Richmond, side stage, and I the part was coming up, and I went like this to kind of like mess with her and stuff, and she was like, no, no. She went, no, I'm so embarrassed.
Well, I'll make sure to clip that at the beginning to let her know how embarrassed she actually should have been.
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Yeah, right. So, do you have any covers that you would like to do?
Did you see the It's Gonna Be May one we just dropped?
Mm-mm.
We didn't, and we've actually never done a cover, so we just did this NSYNC one. I've been sitting on it for like 4 years. I went back and looked for however long it's been, and like I was working on it like the week before the pandemic was even a thing. And I was like, oh my God, like this is old. And I saw May 1st, like it's for the meme. I saw
Yeah,
May 1st was coming up, and I was like, hey guys, like, you care if I just send this out to get mixed? And they're like, yeah, like it's funny, whatever. So we did that instant cover, but we have a we do have two ideas that we're sitting on for covers. Um, like they're pretty good. They're pretty good. I
right
don't want
on.
to spoil it.
I've
Yeah.
actually forgot about the NSYNC cover until you brought it up just then, and sorry, but I've honestly I've been buried. I saw
Yeah,
it
you're
and
good.
I was like, oh, I need to add that to queue for the next cover show that I do because I like to do themed cover shows from time to time, and I did, and I just completely forgot that it existed when I asked you that.
You're good. The cover art, we were trying to think of a cover art, and I just went to like a face swap app and I
That's
put
right.
Justin Timberlake's face on mine. And I was like, this is too funny to like we have to use
Yeah, I do remember that now because I showed Michelle and she thought it was just as great as I did.
it. Appreciate it.
Do you have any dream tour mates that you'd really want to tour with? It could be some friends or it could be a big band.
For Varia, definitely Ocean Grove. They're this band from Australia. I would love to tour with them or just really even just play with them. Um, Probably like Alexis on Fire. Obviously, I like Falling in Reverse. I know that's gonna get some hate, but I don't care. Um, just yeah, and I guess I don't know, maybe throw Blink 182 for no reason as like the headliner.
Why not?
Make our ticket prices skyrocket to 1K a
Yeah,
piece.
no doubt. I wanted to see Oxymorons is playing with Corey Taylor, and I know I'm in the minority here, but I don't give a fuck about Corey Taylor. And I just wanted to see Oxymorons, and I saw that it was through Ticketmaster, and I saw the prices, and I was like, well, I'll see him next time.
How much was it? Was it like hundreds of dollars
350.
for just for Corey Taylor? Oh man, that's kind of
It's
steep.
Corey Taylor, Oxymorons, Wargasm, but yeah, he's the big ticket item. It's Ticketmaster. I'm sure that his price was like 150, and then Ticketmaster has to 75% up the price. So
Has to gouge the price. Yeah,
yeah,
I think they're passing laws on that. They need to
uh,
speed it up.
yeah, they really do. uh, I'm not going to leave that part in about Corey Taylor because everybody loves him. I know I'm in the minority there, but man,
Oh, you
I
sure? I mean,
I I don't like either one of his bands. I just think he's the most overrated thing. I think it started with Slipknot. I don't like Slipknot because they have so fucking many band members. Like, what do you need 14 drummers and 11 bass players for, y'all? Come on. It's ridiculous.
you should put that out there. I'll go to bat for you. I
Everybody's
like
got
Corey
their
Taylor.
yeah, everybody does, and that's cool. I'm not knocking him. He's talented. I just I've always thought he was just so incredibly overrated for some reason. But that's
What's
me.
another What's another person that you think is like overrated?
Oh shit. I could go on this all day. Ozzy. Ozzy Osbourne.
Really?
Yes.
I could see that.
He's got a terrible, terrible voice and he's been singing with it for years.
Well, all right. What about underrated then?
Underrated? Skindred. 100% Skindred.
Skindred?
Yeah.
I've never heard of them. I'll
They are
now I gotta
like
check them out.
they're a reggae metal punk hip hop. That's how they describe themselves, but it's really just reggae metal out of England.
Is it like a more extreme, like Sublime kind
Oh
of?
yeah. I mean it's when I say metal, I do mean metal, reggae metal. It's very very thick music. It's great.
I, I gotta check that out.
It's one of my very favorite things. I saw them, they opened for Seether is how I found them. and
Oh, word.
uh, I've they did this song called Nobody, and he does this part where the crowd sings with him. And when the crowd would sing with him, he would scream, "Shh, you'll wake the baby." So it stuck in my head, that stage performance thing is stuck in my head. And I went and found their CD and I was like, "Oh my God, this is groundbreaking. How are they not the biggest thing since System of a Down?" Yeah, they're good.
That's a big part of like music too, I think, is like that's one thing I noticed too, is like how someone interacts with the crowd, and like
Hmm.
if someone's like really stiff and you could tell they're on a script, like I like when things like unexpected happen and then you have to like kind of act in the moment. Like though like when I see people like how they handle that, that's how I could tell like the really solid performers in my opinion from like the other ones, you know what I mean? It's because like I feel like if you're putting on a show, like you should at least try to make it fun for people. You know, maybe not like literally sing and dance, but just try to make it a good time.
No, I went and saw what is that stupid? No, of course
Escapes you.
Jacoby Shaddix.
Oh, Papa Roach.
Yes. Papa Roach opened for Chevelle and Breaking Benjamin. I went because I was a huge fan of Chevelle and Breaking Benjamin. I didn't give a shit about Papa Roach. And they won me that day because they were the only of the three bands that I had fun while I was watching them play. They had the pit running in a circle. Jacoby was all over the place, doing what singers are supposed to do. And then Chevelle got up there and they just played and sang and then got off stage. And then Breaking Benjamin got up there and played and sang and got off stage. And I was like, oh shit, that is not what I would have expected to enjoyed the most out of this concert was Papa Roach.
Papa Roach, I think it's I think a lot of it people just don't take them seriously because of their name, but they've been consistent for like over 20 years. Like they're one of those bands too. They keep their ear to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're really current on like stuff that's going on and like what the next big thing is. Like I have a lot of respect for them, and like they are solid players, and they're kind of one of those bands in my opinion that like they're just getting better with age. Like they don't really miss, especially
Yeah.
for what they do.
Side note, Jacoby actually did a song with Skindred called Warning.
Oh, really? I'll have to check it
Yeah.
out. I like his voice a lot.
And when they perform it live, because when you do a guest vocalist, a lot of times you get to their part and you have to figure out what you're going to do. So when they get to Jacoby's verse, they do this thing called the Newport helicopter where they get everybody to take their shirt off and spin it at the same time to the beat. And it's the neatest live thing that you got to look it up for real. The Newport helicopter. It's cool.
I'm gonna look that up. That they sound like a fun band
Dude,
live.
yeah.
Everything I've seen from them is like they know how to work a crowd.
Yeah. So do you have any favorite concerts? Just, have you that you've seen live?
That I've seen live. Um, well, last year I saw Crown the Empire live in Baltimore, and I think I got COVID from that. But outside of the COVID, it
Worth it.
was yeah, it was worth it because oh, Word Alive opened for them. Yeah, Word Alive had like one of the best crowds I've ever seen at a metal show. Like it's like every song they were moving, they were responding super well, and like um I think there was an incident where like a girl like passed out, and they handled it. Crown the Empire handled it like masterfully, and they were like super respectful of it and everything. And it just, I was like, wow, like this is a band. Like I had seen them live before, and I've known of them, but like once I saw them live, I was like, oh, that's why they're this big. Like I get it now.
Yeah.
Um, another show. I'm trying to think. I don't know. I saw a really random in Richmond. I saw Escape the Fate a few years ago, and it was like the only show I think they've ever done since Craig has joined that he didn't play because he was too sick. So they had like a mixture of people singing his songs, and that was pretty interesting to see because they
Yeah.
still played and they still had a good time.
Right on.
Yeah, but yeah, outside of that, I don't know. They all kind of blend together.
Do you have anything you like to do outside of music, like TV shows, movies, books, games, hunting, anything like that?
So I just play the Switch every now and then, but I have dogs, so I'm a dog guy now. I got two German Shepherd chocolate lab mixes, and I probably should have just had kids instead because they're a lot more work.
No, 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 no. No,
Kids are more.
I can't say that you'd rather have kids than dogs because yeah, no, I'm kidding. I love my kids very much. They're great. They're
Yeah.
great. They're great. Um, so yeah, I'm going to open the floor up to you now. Do you have anything you want to say to your fans? Plug stuff, just tell them stuff, anything.
Basically just thank you guys for all your support and stuff. Especially recently with everything that's been going on. We've been getting a ton of people like asking us like, when we're playing again, and there's just I don't know, it just kind of feels like just a revived spirit. Like we're definitely working on some new stuff. The good old big things coming soon, you know, that whole thing. And yeah, we're gonna be putting out new stuff. I don't want to give too much away because I want it to be a surprise, but yeah, in the words of every local band that's come before, big things coming soon.
Cool. Pat, I'd like to thank you very much for joining me today and for talking to your fans a little bit. Of course, I'll link all of Varia's information down below in the comments. So if you want to follow them, get to know them better, trust me, they're a hell of a band. So once again, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you for having me.